Hey there, it's Jeff and Mary Jane from Train 4x4 Adventures. And gosh, we're a year now into having our van, and we realize that we haven't even introduced ourselves. So we're going to take a few minutes and talk about who we are, what got us here, and what we love about our van. Um, I've been in banking for 35 years, enjoyed it a whole lot. Just recently had a job transition to where I'm actually working in the van space full time, which is really cool. And Mary Jane does what type of work?
Software engineer.
Software engineer. So it's so funny. We get so many comments about, wow, you guys are retired. And it's like,
Nope.
well, no, we're just taking full advantage of every life opportunity that comes our way, and looking for getting out as frequently as we can. And we love kind of documenting and sharing our experiences with others. So obviously that's why we put this channel together. So yeah, we're gonna just share with you a few thoughts of our van life experience, and in an effort to help you guys, our audience, get to know us just a little bit better. All right, so we have a Jayco Terrain, and we bought it last June. That was June of 2022. So we've had it, gosh, about a year and 1 month.
hmm
And so, what's the favorite thing about it? What do you?
For me, definitely flexibility. So there's times where, we ended the day kind of late, and it's like, where do we stay? And we've been able to find places and just pull over, and this has a bed, bathroom, water. So the flexibility has been awesome.
Yeah, it's so funny. When we got our van, I was like looking at all these campgrounds that we should um, check out and camp at. I got part of all kinds of different reservation apps, and we did a few campgrounds, and then we kind of looked around and said, why do we need a campground? Now we're in a campground right now, and it's
hmm
nice from time to time, but
Yeah,
man, the favorite thing about this van is boondocking, and
yeah.
we discovered that there's so much, particularly on the West Coast, so much land out here that is BLM land, or
hmm
we're in a Forest Service area right now where there's boondocking right outside of this campground. So just ample places where you can just go in. Since we're totally self-sufficient, we don't need to plug into anything. We've got
Yeah,
our water, we've got
yeah.
our shower, we've got our toilet, we've got a portable table that we can set up, we've got our fire pit. So we don't really need the amenities of a campground. And the big thing about that is that we don't have to plan. We don't have to look 6 months in advance and try and
hmm
fight to get a campground spot.
Yeah.
We just go. And that works out very well for us. Like, we're both still working a lot of hours full time. We
hmm
need to have the ability to just get up and go. So that's
Yeah.
that's our favorite thing.
Okay, so we decided to invest in this van for a lot of reasons, and some were primarily my reasons because I grew up camping, so I love being outdoors. This forest is amazing. We did tent camping as a kid, and then my dad had a truck and camper without a bathroom, and we went to a lot of different national parks. So I have been to many of those throughout the West Coast. And then we had kids, and we took them in our Suburban to a lot of the national parks all over, all the way up to Washington, through Oregon. But we had to pack up everything. We had a tent, we had 5 sleeping bags, we had a Coleman, and we timed ourselves one time. I think it was like 2 hours to pack up, something like that. It was crazy because you have to roll up the sleeping bags. Um, and I think sometimes in the weather, when it's rainy, it's miserable. So when we talked about, what do we want to do next? We still want to camp. Our kids are grown up, so it's just Jeff and me. And then these vans came out, and I'm like, wait, does it have a bathroom? Yes. A shower? Yes. So to me, it's just so nice to be able to get up and go and not sleep in a tent. And we've been out there when it was raining, and we will go inside if we have to. And it's just been so nice, and it has everything that we need. It's awesome.
Yeah, we were actually first looking at getting a trailer,
Yeah.
and then just the thought of the fact that we could park this in our driveway,
Mm-hmm.
and getting it ready for a trip is going to be so much easier because it's right out front. We don't have to go pick it up,
Mm-hmm.
and the other thing too is we're big skiers and snowboarders, and so having 4-wheel drive and
Yeah.
the ability to take this up to the mountains was a big part of our decision as well. And they're expensive. They're a lot of money, but man, it's been worth every penny. And
Yeah.
we're not paying for hotels anymore, right? So
Yeah.
save on that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been absolutely wonderful. No regrets. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Okay, so our most memorable trip has to be last year. Right shortly after we bought this van, we did a big loop from San Diego, and we went into Colorado, well, through Utah, Colorado, and then back to San Diego. But we did a lot. It was, how many days did we go? Like,
Oh my gosh, like
almost 2 weeks?
yeah, about 2 weeks.
Yeah. So we saw different things. It was our first time to experience a harvest host. We stayed on a farm, and they just ask that you spend, $20, $25 at any harvest host just to help them out. This one had a little, like a little, I don't know, cabin where they sold cheese. Oh my gosh, amazing cheese and pork chops. And so we bought that and continued on kind of through the back roads and ended up in Crested Butte, and did not have a reservation, and we were lucky to find one in a campsite, campground.
Right along the river.
Oh, it was so beautiful. Bella, our dog, just loved going in the water. It was amazing. And then we looped around and ended up in Steamboat Springs, where one of our daughters lives, and we went up to, was it Pearl Lake?
Mm-hmm.
And we had paddle boards that we borrowed. So we blew those up. They're inflatable. And we were out on the lake, and it was just so nice. I mean, it was so much fun. And then came back, and then we went, oh gosh, and then that trip, whew. Okay, so this is memorable. Then on the way kind of home off the 70, we went to Canyonlands National Park, went to the visitor center and said, where can we go that's a little off-roading? And so she pointed us to the Schaefer Trail. Well, she didn't tell us that the Schaefer Trail is another death-defying kind of route that I say is scarier than heck. So we took the Schaefer Trail and ended up in Moab, so it was one way, and then continued on. But yeah, Jeff will say he loved it, but for me, I walked a lot of the way because I was so, again, I don't really like heights, so sitting in this van and you're way up high and looking down at the cliff just freaked me out. So again, I like to run, and I will walk, run. I ran like 6 miles going downward, but I got a lot of good clips of the van and Jeff. And then after Moab, we had a really good dinner, and then where did we go after that?
We just camped at a campground that we found along the way home, along the 70, and then just made our way home.
Yeah.
So yeah, just full disclosure on that Schaefer Trail. So I had seen videos on that. That was a bucket list item of mine. Didn't want to fully tell Mary Jane about it because I knew if she saw a video of it, she'd say no way. And when we went into the visitor center, we were just asking about places to go, and I think she said the White Rim Trail. Well, that's a good one, but we got a lot of rain, and it's been very eroded, and you need a permit for that anyhow to go the whole way, and it takes a couple of days. And then the ranger there just said, but the Schaefer Trail's in really good shape. And I'm like, huh. And Mary Jane looks at me and goes, well, why don't we do that? And I'm like, let's do it.
I had no idea. Oh my God. And they didn't make it sound like it was scary at all. It was just like, yeah, just do it.
It wasn't that scary, but it was absolutely beautiful. Beautiful trail to take your Jeep or your van. Definitely want to go 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, definitely 4-wheel drive for sure.
That was definitely the most memorable bucket list item, and Mary Jane doesn't want to do it again, but I think we might take some other van owners out there.
I'll walk it. The miles. How many miles did I run?
I don't know. It was probably 6 or 8 miles.
6 to 8 miles. It was mostly all downhill, so it wasn't that hard. But
That was fun. We don't have anything planned right now. We're kind of in a transitional phase of our lives. We're actually in the process of moving to Utah. So I've done a few meetups and trail runs down in Anza-Borrego Desert, and they've been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so, once we get settled, we definitely want to, with some help of some friends, since I don't know that area as well, definitely lead a trip out.
Yeah.
Maybe out this way where we're at right now, or somewhere closer to home, just to check out so many different areas within Utah and share those experiences with friends. So
yeah, we're just really looking forward to it. There's a lot to be seen,
lot to be discovered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, so van life is, again, what I said, is flexibility. And what that also means is we're not the types of people that will just stay at a campground or somewhere for a whole week. I really like to make use of that time and venture out, maybe even go somewhere the next day and the next day. But when you're in a tent and you have all the gear to pack up, it's tiring. For here, like, it's minimal. We have chairs, 10 minutes and we're packed up, ready to go. So we get to see a lot more, and it's not as inconvenient, maybe, right? It's tent camping.
Yeah, we're all about being on the move, and with these vans, it works out really well because the battery charges based on the second alternator. We do have solar that helps, but being mobile, being on the move, and being able to take more in rather than just park and sit and hike around the typical campground spot. We like to get out and explore, so it fits us very well.
Yep.
All right, so taking a quote from Warren Miller. If you haven't seen Warren Miller's ski videos, they're incredible. He used to always say, if you don't do it this year, you'll be 1 year older than when you do. So just do it.
Yes.
Just do it. Jump in. But before you do it, there's so many different options. There's so much to learn. I would take the time and really kind of do your homework. There are expos. Adventure Van Expos is one of them. That's just all van specific. I went to one of those before we bought, and I've been to several since, and it's just been very, very helpful to really learn the different aspects. So you've kind of got the option of, do you buy one like we did? We got a Jayco Terrain. We first were going to buy a custom van because that way we could kind of configure it exactly how we wanted it. But we got ours just as we're coming out of the pandemic, and a lot of those builders were still way backed up, and we didn't want to wait 18 months to have a van built out. So we opted to get the Jayco Terrain, which is fully equipped. And that's the other thing that we learned, is that I thought we'd get this van and we'd be off and running, and it's fully equipped. It has everything that we would ever want on it. But man, there's so many other things that are fun to add to it, and we've just been having a great time just doing little tweaks and upgrades along the way. So that's kind of my thought. What about you?
Yeah. For van life, I think it really did help going to those adventure van expos and looking at getting ideas and from other people on Facebook and such, just to stay organized. Like, for example, we had this teapot to boil water and make coffee, and it was a round traditional teapot, and then
took up a lot of space,
and it's awkward. And then one of the friends that we met through a van trip in Anza-Borrego was like, why are you using that? And he showed us this teapot that's collapsible, and then you expand it and you heat water, and you don't need to put it on a burner. You just plug it in.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, there we go.
3 minutes and you have
yes.
You have boiling water.
So I think for us, it's just really staying organized, because it is a small space, but if you organize yourself, it's so much easier. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Facebook groups. I wish I would have known that there was a Jayco Terrain Facebook group before we bought.
Yeah.
That would have been helpful, because in the community, it's so wonderful. People just helping each other. The other thing that you should know if you're considering a van, particularly one that's already built out, these are RVs. You're not going to buy it and have it be in perfect everything working shape and just not have any maintenance issues. They're expensive, and there's a lot to them. They're sophisticated, and the build quality is not perfect. So you've got to be a little bit of a handy person, or at least know somebody that can help you a little bit, turn a couple screws or do some adjusting. But the great thing is the community out there. You know, there's a Revel group for Winnebago Revels. There's a storyteller group out there, and Jayco Terrain group. It's just been fantastic meeting other van owners and just sharing tips. So
Yes, definitely helpful. Okay, so the name of our rig is Forest. And yeah, and how did we actually come up with that, Jeff? Yeah, I'll let you tell.
So we love camping with our family and our kids, and this name actually came to us from our daughter Elena's boyfriend, Dylan. He thought since we enjoy spending time out in the forest, why not call it Forest? And then of course I thought about Forrest Gump and Run Forrest Gump and going, and anyhow it stuck. So
Yeah.
so this is
Good.
Forest.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh, where do we start? So we've already done a few things, but we've just begun to scratch the surface. So number one, suspension.
Yeah.
So we part of the reason why we bought the Jayco Terrain is it actually came with upgraded suspension. It's got Coney shocks and an upgraded sway bar, but minor in comparison to what the real needs of these vans require. They add on a lot of weight when you put the bathroom in there and the shower and the the bed, and then we load it up with all of our gear, and before you know it, you've got a lot of weight. And this is a big sail, and wind hits it and it just takes it for a ride. So having something that would be a little bit stiffer suspension, but also a high performing suspension, is definitely where it's going to be. So suspension. The other thing too that comes top of mind to me, I'm right now finishing up on about a 14-day work trip in this thing, and I can't tell you how many times I've had to pull over and fill up for gas. So taking I think this has like a 22-gallon fuel tank, and there's 47-gallon fuel tanks available. That'll be next on the van, but the list goes on and on. So suspension. I would like to get an air locker to get better traction in the rear. One of the things that I loved about the Jayco Terrain, it's got great steps along the side, but if you're four-wheeling, they're a little bit big, so maybe getting some steps that actually slide in. There's just so many options, and that's half the fun of this. It's kind of like when you buy a new home and you want to get new carpet, and get some new blinds. We're doing all that same thing with the van. It's literally half the fun of van life is just getting it dialed into exactly how you want it. So
yeah.
What do you want next?
Well, mine, I guess, tends to be more internal to the van. For example, I've mentioned that I did not want to do any more tent camping, sleeping on air mattress in a sleeping bag. So it comes with a kind of mattress, but it's pretty stiff. So we added a Tempur-Pedic topper, which really helps. You got that at Costco, I think, right? So it helps, but it's not custom. Kind of slides around a little bit, and they do make customized beds now for the van, which that's something that we want to get, because it's so important that you sleep comfortably so you don't wake up with a neck ache or back ache or whatever. So that's important. So that's one thing. And then the next thing, our friends who went on a road trip with us showed us their tinted windows. And I don't mean like dark, like limo kind of tinted windows, but just enough to keep the UV rays out, because a lot of times when we're driving, these are huge windows and I'll end up putting like a newspaper or something just to keep the sun out. So that would be really useful and something I want to get soon.
Yep. So I'm actually, that was one of the things I was going to say as well, because I've been going through this trip, and it's also during a heat wave, and I started out in Arizona, and it was just really, really tough. So next week when we get back, I'm going to definitely schedule an appointment to get the windows tinted first off, so that'll be next on the list. But soon after, Agile Off-Road's RIP kit is going to be going on, and get
Yay.
that suspension dialed in, and we'd be a little bit safer and a lot more comfortable driving
Yes.
this both on-road and off-road. So looking forward to that too. So
Yeah.
well, thank you all for sticking around to the end of this video. We really enjoyed sharing our van life experience, and hope you enjoy watching our videos. We've got more to come. We just did a really fun hike and just different adventures in the van. So stick around, and we hope to continue sharing our experience with you, and hope you enjoy it. Take care, everybody. Hope to see you on the trail soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.